everyone. This is Doing the Damn Thing team from Zoom, from inside our house. We are all practicing social distancing and following our county and state laws. So we're all here. There's a sheet behind me. Carmen has some plants behind her, and Lauren and Geraldine have the cool graphic. They figured out how to do it. So before we dive into this fun video, actually we have a really fun video for you guys. We're going to be talking about our signs, because what else is there to talk about during this time? But before we do, you guys want us to say a quick hello?
Hi.
Hey.
Hi. You mean you want us to actually talk and say something?
No, that's fine. You guys can, before we get into this video, of course, like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. So first, though, before we dive into our lovely conversation about our signs, how are you guys all feeling during this time?
Good. I feel like it's kind of settling in. We're in like week 4 now. So it's definitely, they say it takes 28 days to build a habit. And I feel like we kind of are at that point. It's now a habit to be inside, which is okay. So I'm feeling pretty grounded.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, I'm feeling good. Like, obviously my plants are doing very well because I'm home all the time. But I've been getting a lot of work done, and I've been enjoying, just being at home and, hanging out with my cat. He's probably annoyed with me by now, but so far so good. I feel like, yeah, Lauren's right. Like, everything just kind of feels normal now, this new normal. So just doing what I can to get through, I guess.
Yeah.
It's been pretty good for me. Pretty much productive times every single day, and I've been eating really great food.
That's good. All right. So the reason why we got into this conversation, by the way, is we all have an interest in our science at different levels. And I am not an expert. I'm pretty sure Lauren and Geraldine lead the pack in knowing a little bit more about that. So we just actually wanted to share with you guys all our different signs. But Lauren, do you want to go first? Because you are well versed.
I don't know. I would say that Carmen probably knows a lot because she does a background check on all her boys to make sure that.
Oh yes, a birth chart is essential. They need to give me their exact time of birth and where they were born. Pretty much the first date is a requirement, and whether they know what they're getting into or not. I'm like, yeah.
You're like, let's just even see if you have a chance being in my life.
You have to know what kind of crazy you're dealing with.
Yeah. You don't stalk them on like their social media. You ask them for like their birth certificate. You're like, I need the time and the location you were born.
Can't lie about all that.
That seems more powerful to me. The cosmic, you can't deny the cosmic. But I will say on that note that like I struggle with this because I've always also done checked with astrology and checking different charts, but like I also have found that I eliminate people based on that. So I'm like, oh no, they're a Gemini, that's not going to work for me. I'm like, and I feel like that's I try to have a balance with that because I don't want to just eliminate. That's I feel like that's not necessary.
Well, that's why you got to look at all 3 signs. You can't just be like, oh, I hate him, he's a Capricorn. But maybe he's a cool Capricorn because he's an Aries rising or, a Libra moon or who knows, That's why I like the 3 signs. I mean, in this chart that we looked up for Nicole, it shows all of your planets placements, which I'm not totally first in. I'm getting better with it, but this is totally my jam. I'm all up in the astrology stuff. So
so I'm a Taurus and Aries rising. My sun sign is Taurus and Aries, which means that's the year. That's what we all know pretty much because it's based on the day you're born. And so I'm on the cusp, which is in the transition of the days when it goes from one sign to the other. The cusp people are the people that are born either 3 days before or 3 days after, 2 or 3 days, and it varies. So there's many, it's a fewer people in the world that are cusp, but so I have Aries and Taurus and my sun. My rising is Scorpio. I should say too, Aries is a fire sign, Taurus is an earth sign. My rising Scorpio is actually a water. People think about Scorpio being like fire because it's bites you. They're a water sign. And then my moon is Libra, which is air. So I have all 4 elements within my those 3.
Wow.
That's kind of crazy.
Balanced, you all. But also, Yeah.
I'm literally making notes so I can remember
Thank you. So you can know how to treat me, and we can all know how to treat each other. This is a new. We have all talked before about our signs, but this is the first time that Nicole has gone deeper and found out more of that. Right?
Yeah.
Do you get, Lauren, do you want to just, for people that might not know, what is the rising and moon? Like,
Sure.
what does that mean?
Well, the way I've always known is that your sun sign is your like your soul. So that's the Taurus Aries. My soul is that. Your moon is your emotions. So my moons are Libra, and then your rising is your personality. So I do present as a Scorpio at a lot of moments in my life, which is probably why I've attracted so many Scorpio men as partners.
Nice.
Okay, so Geraldine, do you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. My sun is Leo, my moon is Libra, and my rising is Virgo.
So 2 Libra moons.
Yeah.
The Libra moon ladies, all right? And then rising is Virgo.
Which makes sense too, because Geraldine and I, like, we're opposing in everything, but you know, our emotions are Libras apparently. Also, you're a fire and an earth sign, and I have the fire and earth too. My
Fire, earth, and air.
air, yeah. So if you had a cusp, you could be a 4th, but just because I have.
Yeah, you have the 4th. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's, like I was saying before we start recording, it's like Leos are always like, so I married a Leo, my good friend is a Leo, and I just feel like Leos, even they get a bad rap for being conceited. And just are very vocal at what they're good at. Like, you know?
Leaders, confident leaders.
Oh,
Well, and the best thing about Leos is they're so loyal and they're the best friend you could ever have.
This is what it says about Leos. It says, she is masterful, she likes authority, what is this? Aspires toward an ideal, likes to give advice for sure. She is honest, frank, loyal, open, and sincere.
Yeah.
Definitely. Okay.
Carmen, do you want to go next?
Okay. Yeah, I'll go. So my sun sign is Aries, and then my rising is Leo, so I'm a double. My moon is water, is Pisces, so I have fire and water.
Wow.
Yeah.
So we have 2 Aries suns too. So we have 2 Libra moons, 2 Aries suns.
3 fire sun signs, and then she's air. Yeah. So yeah, I feel very fiery, and then good thing I have the water to kind of cool me down.
To cool you off.
No, because I'll go off and just, you know, burn the whole city down, but you know, you gotta keep everything in check.
Yeah, because you have to remind yourself that you live in that city too. Hope you burn it down.
Good
Exactly.
point.
I can't burn everything down. I can't burn my bridges. You know.
So okay, so mine, because I'm gonna read off my notes, guys, because you know I'm still learning. Okay, so my sun is Libra, and my moon is Gemini, and then my rising is also Libra.
Which is so weird. I don't often see the double.
I'm just like air all day, every day. Like,
yeah, just air. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, which I because air would be like, I think of them as like not grounded. I don't think of you as not grounded. Well, or not grounded, but kind of, well, maybe.
Air can also be intellectual, though.
Yeah. One of the things
all thoughts. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is sometimes be hard. I had to like actually teach myself execution, because my comfort or where I find joy is sort of in a thought process, and I actually had to like, it was really hard. It was like a mental block. I'm like, oh, I should finish things, shouldn't I? Like I shouldn't just like actually start all these things. Like
totally.
I
know this is getting real.
My Mars is in Virgo.
Okay, so that's how you.
My Mars is in Leo.
Oh, okay.
My Mars is in Cancer, so I'm sensitive.
Oh.
I just cry when I get mad.
Maybe someone can explain what Mars means.
I think that's, you explain it, Carmen. I think you were talking about Mars, right?
Yeah, I like thinking about those because then it's like how you process when you're angry. And when I looked mine up, I was like, oh my God, that is me. Like I get so overwhelmed that I just cry, or like I don't know how to, like I get frustrated, or like some people who are like Mars and Aries, for instance, would be like, oh man, you got a short temper. You probably have a very short fuse. You know, you could get knocked off very quickly. So
Anyone want to guess what,
everybody's different. So they're Capricorn sun.
anyone want to
know,
guess what Geraldine's Mars is?
Is it
I'm
a
going to
Virgo
say
as well?
something mellow.
I feel like it might be a sign where it's very stoic. Like I don't see you like crying or getting mad. I see you just slowly, like almost, you know, like Harry Potter. What's that house that starts with the S, the Slithers, whatever? Like
Slytherin.
I feel like it's like that, where you're just gonna be scheming of how to get them back.
Scorpio.
No, I don't think she schemes. What are you?
Well, not scheming, but it's just
I
like
thought you were gonna guess.
Oh, well, I don't know. Like it's
not a fire element. I don't think you're
maybe Virgo, like just steady. I guess can Virgos get mad?
Yeah.
You want to know what it is? It's Libra.
Wait.
Libra. Oh, more Libra. Dang. That makes
So
sense
you fight
too, actually.
You got to fight for justice. You fight for what's right. You get like, you know, riled up when things are maybe not fair.
Yeah.
Not fair, but I don't think Libras tend to be, my mom's a Libra too. I just feel like my experience with Libras are they don't outwardly express a lot of their emotion, I feel.
I'm a long-term relationship person. So maybe that's,
Yeah.
What about your Venus, speaking of relationships, which is your love, right?
Yeah.
what's everyone's Venus?
So Venus, again, remember, is our love sign, so how we love. So my Venus is a Virgo.
Oh, let's see. And mine's a Taurus, so we're actually a love match.
Me too, because my love is Taurus too. My Venus is Taurus. Yeah.
What are you, Geraldine?
Cancer.
Cancer. So yeah, like Cancer is all about like home and the hearth. So like, you know, making a home and feeling, you know, stable and connected, and like that totally makes sense if you like long-term relationships.
Yeah. But it's also Cancers tend to keep their circle close. Like they're not gonna like actually. I always think Cancers, like they're not gonna have a crazy house party with 100 people, but they're gonna have a really cool party for 20.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Intimate dinner party.
Intimate.
Yeah, well, but as on the Venus, I mean, my sun sign's Taurus also, but the Venus, which is what Carmen and I, like the Taurus lovers, are very sensual. They like to have like, my beds are always like really comfortable and soft and like a lot of textures and
oh, you are a Taurus. Right? Yeah, look at you. I'm just like, I want to get into that bed, like that Taurus bed. It's like very comfy and lots of food. If you bring me food, I will love you forever. Like that's just like, oh, I thank you. You know, so that's the way to make me fall in love.
I was going to say, is there one of the things that we should look at in our chart that's career related? Does anyone know?
I think so. I don't know what astrological house that is.
That's a good question.
You know, what planet it might be?
Well, do you still have that pulled up? We can edit this part.
Oh, you know what it is? Commerce, business, communication. That's all your Mercury.
Mercury?
Mm-hmm.
Mine's Aries.
Mercury is the god of business. So you must be good starting stuff, you know, like good at getting things
Not
going.
great at finishing it, but great at starting it.
Mine is Leo.
Leo, okay. Ooh. So like probably like good with connections, very like people follow you, like you would be very like, you know, able to be revered, or like people kind of look to you in that way, but like as a leader, definitely leader energy.
How about you? Either one of you.
Oh, what is my Mercury? That's a good question.
Nicole.
Oh, my Mercury is a Libra.
Dang,
all the Libra. Total Libra. Oh, my Mercury is in Aries as well.
Oh, that's why. I feel like we have similar work styles, actually. That makes sense to me.
Yeah, cool. Interesting. I actually didn't know that. I hadn't looked at it. The thing about says She makes quick decisions,
Yes.
may streamline learning, can be direct and straightforward in speech, possessing an innocent charm, and can easily motivate others with her enthusiasm. Usually loves a heated dispute. Lively mind that quickly understands a given situation. She is very resourceful and capable, may prefer to jump into a decision, and may not have much patience with pretense. Oh, yeah.
Is that Aries?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Aries and Mercury. Yeah.
I feel that too. That's totally me. Huh, Geraldine?
Makes quick decisions without thinking.
And has no patience.
None. Why do you think I'm the way?
As long as you have the self-awareness of that.
That's right.
That's what I think astrology really does for me, is just give me self-awareness. Like, even if it's not true, a lot of people, don't think it's mumbo jumbo, but it gives me a little perspective. If sometimes maybe I might look at my chart and say, I don't agree with that. Why?
Yeah.
Am I not looking at that part of myself? Honestly, I have to take it, at face value. You can take it with a grain of salt.
Well, and like we've already said, it has to do with the fact that we are influenced by other energies than just our sun sign. So when we read the general readings, it's hard for that's a general reading for every Taurus in the whole world. Like that's, so.
You got to put it together. You got to put all the pieces, all the different paragraphs that they just copy and paste in there. But like, what does that mean for you? I do palm reading too. And that's like another thing where it's like sum of the whole, there's so much to do, to say here, but if you don't look at it all together, how do you see the whole person? You might not see something that's getting balanced by something else.
Do you ever tend to find that, like, more often than not, maybe this particular sign just it's work with, like, that person's a bad person? It's just like that sign is just sort of like, our energies are just not compatible. Like, it's just not going to work. And sometimes that sucks, especially if it's a work setting and you're just like, I have to work with you because I'm getting paid, but it's like, you know what I mean?
And then my Libra, my Pisces and Gemini are two that I find, I wouldn't say they're difficult to deal with, but they're just like, it just never really clicks all the way for me.
For some reason, Capricorns, like we can't be in a romantic relationship and we can't work together. And I think it's just like, there's just so much like, it's like they have to do things in a certain way, and there's like less compromising, and Libras in general are very compromising. And so when I'm working with someone that doesn't want to compromise, it can get very annoying.
Yeah.
Calling out the Capricorns.
Actually, I had that same experience with a Capricorn.
Okay.
And you know what, Lauren, I have to second you on Geminis. I don't know. I don't like the two-face. You got to show me your real face. Like, I don't like when people switch it up on me. Like, that definitely doesn't click, whether in friendships or in business. I'm like, bag on Geminis, like, they're very gregarious. They're very fun. They, they really know how to talk to people and, like, get people together. But, like, sometimes.
Then the shoe drops.
Yeah, I don't know. So I'm like, get it together, air sign. Like, let's get focused.
I know. So then, like, speaking of that, so my moon is Gemini, right? And I have two friends, two like work friends, right, that are Gemini. And one of the things I realized is we want to do projects. And I'm like, we really need to bring in a third person because we both have really great ideas, really great energy. And neither one of us could like pull the trigger, you know?
Do it in the head, right?
And then I feel like I'm pulling the weight in that one. Like I have to like move it along, and that's not in my comfort zone. So I realized, I'm like, you know what, Geminis and I, we could get along. Like, they're like my rooftop friends, like rooftop bar friends. Like, I could drink with you, I could get crazy in the streets with you, but working with you, we'd be on the creative team, but we need to bring some people on there, like the executive team, because it doesn't come.
You need to bring an earth sign in.
Yes. So thank you guys so much for listening to us talk about signs. We hope you guys enjoy this. This is something that we do talk about. In the description below, we will link some of the books that we mentioned and some of the videos that we do watch, that if you guys are interested. If you want us to do more videos like this about our signs or other things that we're interested in, do let us know, because we will dive into it more. And then maybe comment below, which of us would you rather work with depending on our signs.
Challenge accepted.
Oh, a contest. I love to win.
That's me too.
Uh-oh. Is that the Aries in us?
You're inside waiting. But Geraldine knows secretly she's the best.
Yeah, she's the silent leader type, just like she's the kung fu master over there.
All right. Well, thank you guys all. So do you guys want to say a quick goodbye?
Yes.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you, everybody. See you next time.
Yeah, stay safe, stay indoors. The more we all stay indoors, the quicker we can all go outside. So
Yay!